First and foremost, we'll give praise, glory, and honor to the Yah of hosts, the Elohim of Israel, by way of his son Yahshua HaMashiach, and get this party started. Genesis 19. Genesis 19, about verse 8. After we look at Genesis 19, we'll go look in the book of Judges in about chapter 19. Behold, now I have two daughters which have not known man. Hold on, make that about verse 4. But before they lay down, the men of the city, even the men of Sodom, compassed the house round, both old and young, all the people from every quarter. And they called unto Lot, and said unto him, Where are the men which came into thee this night? Bring them out unto us, that we may know them. And Lot went out the door unto them, and shut the door after them. And said, I pray you, brethren, do not so wickedly. Behold, now I have two daughters which have not known man. Let me, I pray you, bring them out unto you. Do you to them as is good in your eyes, only unto these men do nothing. For therefore came they under the shadow of my roof. And they said, Stand back. And they said again, This one fellow came in to sojourn, he will needs be a judge. Now we will deal worse with thee than with them. And they pressed sore upon the man, even Lot, and came near to break the door. Now he just sat back and told them, what did Lot tell these people when they say, hey man, we want to know these men? What did he tell them? What did he just tell them? He told them don't do so wickedly, right? He tried to rebuke them and tried to get some knowledge of Elohim in their mind that they shouldn't do something like that. Well, let's look at Judges 19. About verse 22. Now you got to sit back and look at, now these are Israelites now. We in the land now. Now as they were making their hearts merry, behold, the men of the city, certain sons of Belial, beset the house round about and beat at the door, and spake to the master of the house, the old man, saying, Bring forth the man that came into thine house, that we may know him. And the man, the master of the house, went out unto them, and said unto them, Nay, my brethren, nay, I pray you, do not so wickedly, seeing that this man is come into mine house, do not this folly. Behold, here is my daughter, a maiden. Golly. No, just hold on one second. Got a little more. All right, y'all, call drop, let's start it again. And he says in verse 23, And the man, the master of the house, went out unto them and said unto them, Nay, my brethren, nay, I pray you, do not so wickedly, seeing this man is come into my house, do not this folly. Behold, here's my daughter, a maiden, and his concubine. Then will I bring out now and humble ye them, and do with them what seem good unto you. But unto this man do not so vile a thing. But the men would not hearken to him. So the man took his concubine and brought her forth unto them, and they knew her and abused her all the night until the morning. And when the day began to spring, they let her go. Now we see 2 times these men were given an instruction, right? Say, don't do that. If he say folly, that means it's stupid, right? Let's look at Leviticus 20 and 13. Let's see what that says. After we look at Leviticus 20 and 13, John 8 and 44. I just don't want y'all to just zero in on the homosexual stuff. I'm just showing y'all something when it comes to this here. And when you talking about preaching the word to these sisters, these people be already gone. They be already gone. They ain't trying. I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. If a man also lay with mankind as he lay with a woman, both them have committed an abomination. They shall surely be put to death. Their blood shall be upon them. What do you think it means if he say their blood shall be upon them? Let me show you. Hold on before we even get that far. Let's look at Hebrews 9 and 14. He just told you they blood going to be on them. And he said, how blood on somebody if they just having sexual relations? 9 and 14. And then He said, how much more shall the blood of Hamashiach, who through the eternal spirit offered himself without spot to Elohim, purge your conscience from dead works to serve the living Elohim? And for this cause he is the mediator of the New Testament, that by means of death for the redemption of the transgressions that were under the first testament, they which are called might receive the promise of eternal inheritance. We know from Hebrews 10, those who sin willfully after the knowledge of the truth, there remain no more sacrifice for sin. Ain't that what it say? So when we go back and we look at Sodom and Gomorrah, we looked at this last week. Abraham was trying to intercede on their behalf. But these people were willfully doing this stuff. It wasn't no sacrifice for them. Even when they turn around in the book of Judges, when we see what the tribe of Benjamin did when kicking down this man's house, they knew that was wrong. There was no sacrifice for sin for them because they knew what they were doing. So when he say your blood is going to be upon you, let's turn around here to look at Acts chapter 5, verse 30. Let's see what that means. Y'all got to sit back and look at that every sin you commit. Man, that means this man blood on your head, man. That means he could have washed that sin up off you. The man told you, I gave you blood for atonement. The life is in the blood. When you commit sin, you in death. So death is upon you. You got to get that blood up off of you. That means you got to get Hamashiach blood up off of you. 5:26, book of Acts. Then when the captain with the officers and brought them without violence, for they feared the people lest they should have been stoned, and when they had brought them, they set them before the council, and the high priest asked them, saying, did we not straitly command you that you should not teach in this name? And behold, you have filled Jerusalem with your doctrine and intend to bring this man's blood upon us. Somebody need to get their phone. Lord have mercy. What was Leah crying for? All right, y'all. All right, y'all. So when we sit back and you look at this, right? When you commit sin, the blood of Hamashiach is on you. You trampling it underfoot. You heard what he said? We told you don't teach in this man's name. You done spread the whole doctrine of this man in Jerusalem, intending to bring this man blood on us, right? When you slay an innocent man, that man blood is on you. I'm going to show y'all something. Come on around here to the book of Amos, 2nd chapter. Hold John 8:44. Book of Amos, 2nd chapter. I ain't even know if the Lord was going to let me work this in here. I was talking to Troy and Corey about this last night. And he going to go on ahead and just work it on in here. Amos 2:6. Amos 2:6. I just don't want y'all to be just focused in on those sissies. Don't just sit there and be focusing in on those sissies because you know that wrong. What about the junk you doing you know wrong? You be like, well, he talking about sissies, so this ain't got nothing to do with me. Yeah, it got something to do with you. I put it to you like this here. If you're fornicating, you already know. You ought to go to hell. You around here lusting every day, playing with yourself, man, blood on you. You around here talking about you've been married and your first spouse still living, then you already know. You look at all these people out here been married 3-4 times. Boy, they going to hell. They ain't no different than no faggot. For thus saith Yah, for 3 transgressions of Israel, and for 4, I will not turn away the punishment thereof. Listen what he say. Because they sold the righteous for silver, and the poor for a pair of shoes. They pant after the dust of the earth on the head of the poor, and turn aside the way of the meek. And a man and his father go into the same maid, to profane my Kodesh name. And they lay themselves down upon clothes, and laid to pledge by every altar. They drink the wine of the condemned in the house of their Elohim. What y'all think that could be referring to? What do you think we could get out of that? Anybody want to take a shot? Let's go on around here. Let's look at Matthew 26. Let's see if they sold the righteous for silver. Matthew 26 and 14. A lot of y'all sell the righteous for silver every day. You'll sell out the Lord for a little bit of change. After that, Revelation 13. Then one of the 12, called Judas Iscariot, went unto the chief priests, and said unto them, What would you give me, and I will deliver him unto you? They covenanted with him for 30 pieces of silver. From that time he saw opportunity to betray him. Judas sold this man for some silver, just like Amos told you. He said, for 3 transgressions and for 4, I won't turn away from the punishment thereof. We know Judah died. I was reading them last night, which I already know. Psalm 109 say, man, let him be condemned. Let his prayer become sin. Come on, hold what you got before we even get to Revelation 13. Look at Psalm 109. I think y'all need to hear that while y'all be around here pump faking and playing. Why you think this just about some homosexuals? This ain't just about no homosexuals. Psalm 109 and 2. This just ain't about no homosexuals. Psalm 109 and 2. For the mouth of the wicked and the mouth of the deceitful are opened against me. They have spoken against me with a lying tongue. They compass me about also with words of hatred, and fought against me without a cause. When we turn around and we look at what Judas did, he ain't when it got false witnesses to lie on the man, right? But hold what you got and come over here to Titus 1 and 14. You still hold John 8 and 44 and Revelation 13. You know what all this stuff going back to? I'm finna show you what it's going back to. It's something in the epistle of Romans. I'm gonna show you what I'm aiming at. It's what a lot of y'all do. That's why you go do stuff you ain't got no business doing. That's why you don't even have enough common sense to ask before you even go do something. Just do stupid stuff. You know what I'm talking about? And then there's stuff you know you ain't got no business to ask because you already know better and go do it anyway. Ain't fooling nobody. Make it 15, Titus. Unto the pure, all things are pure. But unto them that are defiled and unbelieving is nothing pure. But even their mind and conscience is defiled. You sat back and seen that in Judges and Genesis. Obviously, they couldn't believe and their mind and conscience were defiled because when he was telling them not to do wickedly, it was already in their heart to go do that, wasn't it? It's in their heart, man, bring that nigga out here. I want to hit him. Both of them, with no shame. They profess that they know Elohim, but in works they deny him, being an abominable and disobedient unto every good work, reprobate. So you know what that is? That's when you got a mouth of a wicked, mouth of deceitful open up against him. You speak against this man with a lying tongue because you say you know that man, but your actions say you don't. You know what I'm talking about? You lying on the man. See 1 John 2 and 4. Make it 2 and 3. 1 John 2 and 3. And hereby we do know that we know him if we keep his commandment. He that saith I know him and keep not his commandments is a liar, and the truth is not in him. But whoso keep his word, in him truly is the love of Elohim perfected. Hereby we know that we are in him. He that saith he abide in him ought to himself also to walk, even as he walked. That means you'll do 2 things, 3 things, I believe, if it comes to my mind correctly, that we looked at in the last few weeks. I put 2 of them together. You would have been humbled and you would suffer, because that suffering would lead to humility, right? Which would lead to obedience. You know what I'm talking about? You would be a plain man, meaning you wouldn't be seeking no reputation. You would be just like Jacob. You'd be a plain man dwelling in the house of Yah. Not seeking honor that come one from another, but the honor that come from Elohim only. That's why Jacob was a plain man dwelling in tents. He wasn't seeking honor from men. He was seeking honor that came from Yah. He wasn't trying to make himself be like he was this, that, and the other to other people. You know what I'm saying? That was that's some of y'all biggest problem. You worry about how people view you. It don't matter if it's your family or your friends or on your job or even how you want some of us to view you. You know what I'm talking about? How you want people to view you on the social media site you be on. That's what y'all concern is. You know what I'm saying? That means you're not a plain man dwelling in tents. You just a nigga who want to be seen. As a matter of fact, hold what you got, Matthew chapter 6. I'm going to go on here and show you what that is. I'm just going to go ahead and show you. Matthew chapter 6. Go ahead and look at verse 1. Don't think because it's talking about alms that it ain't got nothing to do with nothing. Take heed that you do not your alms before men to be seen of them. Otherwise you have no reward of your Father which is in heaven. Therefore, when thou do thine alms, do not sound a trumpet before thee, as the hypocrites do in the synagogue and in the streets, that they may have glory of men. Truly I say unto you, they have their reward. But when thou do thy alms, let not thy left hand know what thy right hand do, that thy alms may be in secret, that thy Father which see in secret himself shall reward thee openly. So he said that talking about you want to give to the Pope because you want to be seen. So when a nigga tell you, oh boy, you's a good brother, boy, you gave to the Pope, you got your reward because that nigga told you that. That's what you was looking for, and you got it. You know what I'm saying? You want people to tell you how good of a brother you is online, or your family or friend because you want to be seen. You got what you were looking for. You want somebody to tell you how virtuous of a woman you is, and you this and you that. And when they tell you that, because you want people to see that or see you do certain things, and when you do it and they tell you that, you got what you're looking for. Yah ain't giving you nothing. He ain't giving you nothing. You know what I'm saying? Straight up. When you do stuff to be seen, you doing that so other people can tell you how great you are. You got what you were looking for. Don't look for nothing from him. Because he already know what you were looking for, so I let you get it. How many times you see people always want somebody to see what they doing? I'm talking about, look here, man. I know everybody like acknowledgement, right? You do something well, you want something. Everybody like this here, man. But man, don't be going around there seeking for it. Whether a nigga acknowledge what you did or not, does it change that you did it? Did you do it? Did you do it because you wanted somebody to acknowledge you? Or did you did it because you had business to handle? You know what I'm saying? Boy, it's a lot of stuff I done did. Boy, ain't nobody acknowledge me. I'm talking about long for the word. Ain't nobody say good job, or boy, I see what you're doing, or nothing. That did not change the fact that I didn't do it for that. I could care less if nobody acknowledged it. I got to get that done. I could care less. I don't need them pats on the back. I don't need that attaboy. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't doing it for that. I wasn't doing it for somebody to say this, that, there, and the other. I had a mission. I have an objective. It must be completed. You know what I'm saying? Even like I said, I'm not saying that, hey man, ain't nothing wrong with wanting to be acknowledged if you do something well. If I catch wind you did something well, I'm going to acknowledge it. Y'all know that because I done did it. You know what I'm saying? I catch wind of it, I'm going to mention it in front of everybody. Because I know everybody likes for their hard work to be acknowledged. You know what I'm talking about? But at the same time, don't live for it. Don't get upset if you don't get it. You know what I'm saying? You be around here, your face balled up. Ain't nobody say nothing about what I did. So what, nigga? You know what I'm saying? And I know it's a little bit more women with us than men. I really want y'all women to take that into y'all mind. Because, see, men do a lot of stuff and they don't get no acknowledgement. You know what I'm saying? And if a nigga go to crying for it, nigga gonna tell him, nigga, shut up. Nobody cares. Nobody cares, nigga. Well, do it again then. You know what I'm saying? The same way I told y'all about, like what women take is they venting when something go wrong and they want to express it. Men are not allowed to do that. You know what I'm saying? See, I know that I'm telling you, I done told y'all this before. Men are not allowed to do that. A man only got one time to vent. He's only allowed one time to do it. And after he do it, his homeboy, whoever, whatever man he told it to, gonna look at him like this here. So what you gonna do about it? And if a nigga be like, shoot, I don't know, better figure something out then. That man who he told it to will never want to hear about that issue ever again unless he got a tangible way to overcome whatever it is he dealing with. That man don't want, because first thing he gonna tell him is, nigga, suck it up, nigga. Do something about it. I don't want to hear that. I got my own stuff going on, nigga. I don't want to hear that. You know what I'm saying? So when a man come and be like, man, I did all this here, man, and ain't nobody even say thank you, acknowledge you anyway. Nigga gonna look at you and be like, I feel you, my nigga. I feel you. You know what I'm saying? He gonna give you that. I feel you. But you can't come tell him that again, though. You know what I'm saying? You can't come tell him that again, though. Because he gonna be like, come on, my nigga. Don't that got to get done? Yeah. Ain't you doing it for this here? Yeah. What, nigga? Stop crying, nigga. Keep handling your business, man. You know what I'm saying? Hey, I know it sounds rough and it sounds hard. When you sit back and look at it, matter of fact, something come to my mind. Come over here to the book of John. Some over here to the book of John. Book of John. Let me think about it. It's about the 4th chapter. Something that came to my mind. I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. I'm going to show you how thankless niggas can be. Even when you do something for them. Make sure that's what I want. It ain't the 4th chapter of John. Let me find it here what I want. Give me a moment to find it. Something that came to my mind immediately. It's Luke 17, verse 11. Show you how thankless niggas can be. That you can't do stuff just to be thankful. I'm gonna show you how thankless niggas can be. That you could do something for somebody and they ain't even gonna be appreciated. Ain't even gonna acknowledge what you did. And it came to pass as he went to Jerusalem that he passed through the midst of Samaria and Galilee. And he entered into a village, and there met him 10 men that were lepers, which stood afar off. And they lifted up their voices and said, Yahshua, Master, have mercy on us. And when he saw them, he said unto them, Go show yourselves unto the priests. And it came to pass that as they went, they were cleansed. And one of them, when he saw that he was healed, turned back and with a loud voice glorified Elohim, and fell down on his face at his feet, giving him thanks. And he was a Samaritan. And Yahshua answering said, Were there not 10 cleansed? But where are the 9? They are not found that return to give glory to Elohim, save this stranger. And he said unto him, Arise, go thy way, thy faith hath made thee whole. Now you're also seeing this as strength, so you know this ain't no Israelite. But do you see what just happened? He just did something for these men, and none of them acknowledged him for what he did. They got what they wanted, they were gone. Did you hear him complain about it? He said, where them other 9 niggas at? Well, ain't that something? It's more faith in this stranger than the actual people in my house. Your faith got you right. You know what I'm saying? You know, and that's also showing this here. Sometimes the reason why people don't give acknowledgement of what people do is because they really ungrateful. You know what I'm saying? Really don't appreciate what that person doing. Somebody doing something for you, man. Ain't nothing wrong with turning around and telling them and say, hey, man, I appreciate that. I know some of y'all want a nigga to say it every single solitary time you do something. Luke 6:23. I'm going to show you why you ain't got no business doing that too. After that, Colossians chapter 3. You got to learn, start doing stuff for the Lord. Start doing it for me. I'm still going to deal with how y'all selling the righteous for silver too. I ain't forgot about it. And I still ain't forgot about John 8:44. And y'all willing, we'll get to talking about this house. And Lizzie, you better calm it down. 6:23. Luke, pardon me, make it about 30. Give to every man that ask of thee, and of him that take away thy goods, ask them not again. I'm telling y'all now, that ain't giving you nigga no license to be no deadbeat, no nasty nigga, and borrow stuff from each other and feel like what the book say, though he ain't supposed to ask me again, so I ain't gotta pay it back. You's a nigga, you ought to go to hell for that. That's a conniving, wicked mind. Why would you even ask to borrow something for somebody and you ain't had no intention on giving it back? Because you heard this man say, if give your goods to them that ask, and them that take away their goods, ask them not again. Because see what the next verse says in verse 31. As you would that men should do to you, do ye also to them likewise. So if you want a nigga to pay you back, you pay somebody back then. You don't want nobody to buck you on yours, do you? Don't tell nobody, and guess what? Anytime you tell a nigga, oh, I'm going to pay you back on Thursday, and you done did it, you lied. That's why you better start putting, I'm telling you on certain stuff because you don't never know what can happen. Man, make you out a liar. You be like, man, when I left here yesterday from your house, then I say, y'all willing, I'll be by it. Because if I don't put that in front of her, it could have been my intention to come by it, but I didn't come by it, then I'd be a liar. I just shot you a lie. Because I told you I was coming back and I didn't come. Don't tell nobody, yeah, man, I'm going to pay you back on Sunday. Better say y'all willing, I got you on Sunday. Because man, that man will have a way real fast to make you out a liar. Y'all don't think about that stuff minute to y'all. You know what I'm saying? That stuff minute to y'all. Matter of fact, since I said it, hold what you got, James chapter 1. That's why you do stuff like that. Y'all don't be thinking about none of the stuff you just be saying. James 3:4-14. Make it 4:13. Go to now, ye that say today or tomorrow, we will go into such city, and continue there a year, buy and sell and get gain, whereas you know not what shall be on the morrow. For what is your life? It is even a vapor, that appear for a little time, then vanish away. For that you ought to say, if the Lord will, we shall live and do this or that. But now you rejoice in your boastings. All such rejoicing is evil. Ooh, woo. So you around here rejoicing about what you're going to do tomorrow and what you're going to do the next day. That man just told you that was evil. I bet you'll stop doing that now, won't you? Therefore, to him that know to do good and do it not, to him it is sin. So guess what? Every time you niggas know it's something you ought to do and you don't do it, you just sin. When you don't know how to restrain yourself, and it's tied right back into what we were looking at in Judges and Genesis, they knew it was not good for them to go in these man booty holes. They knew that was not right to do. You know what I'm saying? And he gave them an option of turning from that. Even in that temptation of their lust, he gave them an escape. They still didn't take it. They still wanted to fulfill their lust. That's what some of y'all problem is. Come on back to Luke chapter 6. The man said it. Maybe it helped somebody out this evening. Y'all all right? Maybe it helped somebody out. Maybe you niggas start walking around here doing stupid stuff all the time. While it's in my mind, I know that y'all done seen it. Well, I don't say all y'all done seen it. But the financial information, the first report, have been given this month. I'm not finna go into great detail because some things are not to be said over this phone nor on this stream. You know what I'm talking about? I hope y'all will have enough common sense to know that. You know what I'm saying? If we was to have a financial meeting with all y'all is here, I would do that. I would let each of y'all know that individually when to call. And don't be telling niggas outside to call either, because I'll X you out off of that. You know what I'm saying? Some business is our business. It ain't everybody else's business. Y'all got to learn the difference between that. Everything ain't for everybody to know. You know what I'm saying? In due time, I'll explain that later. But hey, man, like I told you, those y'all that's outside, if you send something, make it post a money order. It's easier to put it up there, man. Lord will, every service, if it like today, the service fell on the first. You know what I'm saying? But the first service after the first, matter of fact, it don't even matter the service. Every first, that's when that information will be given out. So Lord will, August 1st, that's the next time that information gonna be given. You know what I'm saying? I'm telling you. So I put it to you this way. If you ain't put nothing in the pot, don't be asking me about nothing. You know what I'm saying? Straight up down. Cause I'm gonna tell you, man, I put mine in there all the time. All the time. I'm talking about on both of them. If you ain't put nothing in, don't ask me about it. And when I say you ain't put nothing in, that means if you done made an offering, I take a piece of the offering you send and put it in there. You know what I'm talking about? You know who you is, who do. If you don't have no right to say nothing. You ain't got no right to say nothing about what you want to eat. If you don't send no money for no feast, I don't want to hear nothing from you. You know what I'm saying? We keep detailed records on that type of stuff, man. You know what I'm talking about? I'm dead serious. Dwight do on the feast level. Mentally, I know who send what. You know what I'm talking about? I know who send what. I can run off to you who do it and who consistent. If you don't do it, you ain't got no right to open your mouth and say nothing. Not when it comes to that. I'm telling y'all like this here, right? Well, I said, put that bag down. Any of y'all that's in the offering, okay, that's the money I made for working. I put more than 10% in there. You know what I'm talking about? Out of what you sent, I put more than 10 in there. Lord willing, I think we got us a client coming, and Corey put me up on something, and the money I make out of that, that's going in there too. I ain't got no problem with it. I'm a bill son. That money just is there for whatever needed, for whatever time. You know what I'm saying? They're two separate things. But y'all just know that every first, you'll see that. And if you ain't putting nothing in there, I don't want to hear nothing from you. About nothing. Don't ask me about nothing. If you in need of something, that's different. You know what I'm talking about? Hey! Leave it alone. Y'all hear me? Y'all understand that? All right. Luke chapter 6. Verse 33. And if ye do good to them which do good to you, what thank have ye? Sinners also do even the same. And if you lend to them of whom you hope to receive, what thank have ye? For sinners also lend to sinners, to receive as much again. But love your enemies and do good and lend, hoping for nothing again, and your reward shall be great. Ye shall be called the sons of the highest, for he is kind unto the unthankful and to the evil. Be ye therefore merciful, as your Father in heaven is merciful. All this going down to here, don't be doing stuff. Colossians chapter 3. I'm going to just let Paul tell you.
Stop.
I got to go ahead and just start letting y'all know this. Stop doing stuff for men and do it for the Lord.
Give it here.
Colossians chapter 3. Which verse are we?
Give it here.
Do what she told you. Colossians 3 and 13. Make it about 14. And above all these things, put on charity, which is the bond of perfectness. Let the peace of Elohim rule in your hearts, to the which you are also called in one body, and be ye thankful. And let the word of Hamashiach dwell in you richly, in all wisdom, teaching and admonishing one another in psalms and hymns and spiritual songs, singing with grace in your hearts to the Lord. And whatsoever you do in word and deed, do all in the name of the Lord Yahshua, giving thanks to Elohim and the Father by him. Drop down to verse 22 and listen to what he says. Servants, obey your master, obey in all things your masters according to the flesh. That means you need, whatever your supervisor tell you to do on your job, better start listening. Better start listening. Can't be on your job giving them people lip. We done went over there before. Can't do it. He say your servants, your masters according to the flesh. So wouldn't your supervisors at your job be your masters according to the flesh? He say not with eye service. So don't be doing what they talking about just so you can be seen as men pleasers, but in singleness of heart, fearing Elohim. That means do this stuff as if you're doing it for the Lord. If you start replacing the stuff these people be asking you to do, whatever situation you find, and you doing it for God and not to be seen, it makes stuff go a whole lot simpler. But some of y'all are too emotional and too carnal. Everything sets you off. You aggravated by everything. Everything make you mad. Man, get over it. That's just reality. People are douchebags. You know what I'm saying? People are douchebags. It is what it is. I'm just telling y'all though. People are douchebags. It is what it is. But you can't allow them to dictate how you react, because now you've became the douchebag. Now you've became the idiot. Because you've allowed this person to dictate how you going to respond because you didn't like what they said. Some of you niggas kill me with that. I know this here. I'm messing with Malcolm. Mal bad about it because you don't like what a nigga said. Because you don't like what somebody tell you. Man, you got to get over that stuff, man. She ain't the only one. I'm just messing with her because I seen her yesterday. I ain't messing with her damn bit today. So I had to hit her in the gut. But at the same time, I'm dead serious, though. I'm dead serious, though. Because she's not the only person around here like that. Y'all get mad, somebody tell you something you don't want to hear. Or somebody, or you don't want nobody to tell you something, and you think that reserved the right for you to be an idiot. And you be dead wrong. Because 99.9% of the time when you get angry, when somebody tell you something, you already know it was right. That's why you getting mad. That's why you getting mad. So you done already acknowledged everything they said was correct. You dead wrong, and you just really showing that you are the complete and utter fool. Niggas don't get mad at lies. You know what I'm saying? It's only a few lies somebody can tell on you which will enrage you, because you're going to let it be known. Oh, you ain't finna tell that lie on me, not that one right there. If a man came up and said, he's a pedophile, you might, hold up, homeboy. Hold up. I can't let you put that on my name. You know what I'm saying? I can't let you put that on my name. A woman, if she ain't no whore, nigga go around talking about she a hoe. She'll be like, hold up. I can't let you put that on my name now. You know what I'm saying? I ain't got that many miles over here. You ain't gonna be able to run no batch of facts on this here and find a long list. You lying. You know what I'm saying? You gonna straighten that real quick. You know what I'm talking about? But man, some stuff, man, I'm telling you, I've been told y'all this before. Somebody tell you something, you get angry, you already know it's right. You already know you're doing it. You already know what they said was correct, and you too proud to acknowledge it. You got to do something about that. That'll take you straight to hell. Play with it. Might have been too big. Did it fall off? I did change your diaper. All right, y'all. Come over here to 1 Timothy 6. Y'all around here selling the righteous for some silver. Y'all better tighten up on your bike stroke. 6 and 5. Man, make it verse 3. If any man teach otherwise, matter of fact, make it 1. Let as many servants as are under the yoke count their own masters worthy of all honor, that the name of Elohim and his doctrine be not blasphemed. Ooh, woo. So you know what that also means too, though? On twofold way. That the doctrine of Elohim don't be blasphemed. Say, let all the servants that are under the yoke give their masters worthy of all honor. Count them worthy of all honor. Hold what you got. What it is? Matthew chapter 10. What we holding? John chapter 8. That's all we holding, man. John chapter 8. Come over here, Matthew chapter 10. See if 10 what I want. Or is it 11? It might be in Luke. I'll get what I want. Just hold on one second. Y'all all right, though? I hope ain't nobody, niggas say, I hope you niggas ain't around here with the ugly face. Luke, Mark chapter 6, verse 1. Y'all sitting around there with the ugly face? Y'all better tighten that stuff up, boy. That pride dangerous, boy. That's real dangerous. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna tell you something, man. When you get to that, when you at a point, boy, you a nigga can't tell you nothing. Nobody can't tell you nothing. And you know it's right when they tell it to you. Boy, you know you going to hell. I can't see nowhere in the world you can submit to the word of Elohim and somebody telling you something right and you get mad. That means you got the same spirit the scribes and Pharisees had on them. That means first chance you get, that person who telling you what's right, you'll kill them. If you had the opportunity, you'll kill them. Luke 6 and 1. And he went out from thence and came into his own country, and his disciples followed him. And when the Sabbath day was come, he began to teach in the synagogue, and many hearing him were astonished. From whence hath this man these things, and what wisdom is this which is given unto him, that even such mighty works are wrought by his hand? Is not this the carpenter, the son of Mary, the brother of James and Joses and Judah and Simon? Are not his sisters here with us? And they were offended at him. But Yahshua said unto them, a prophet is not without honor, but in his own country, and among his own kin, and in his own house. Now, what y'all think that would take from that? Coming back to 1 Timothy chapter 6. What can we take from that? What can we take from that? Y'all got an idea what we could take from that? When we go back and look at Moses, he didn't get the honor he was supposed to get amongst them people in the wilderness, did he? That means to go sit back and look at it, that if you sit back and you say, hey, this man is over my soul, he watch over my soul, then that means you would ought to give me the proper honor and respect that is due. We ain't talking about giving no money, buying no gifts. We talking about respect. Stop tearing that book up. Get up. Care nothing about you crying. That means that's supposed to give that proper honor and respect. That's all the Lord was talking about. He wasn't talking about them people bringing him nothing, bringing him no money like you see these stinking niggas on Sunday be talking about. Them people were offended at the work he was doing. They were offended at the words he was speaking. Why he told him he ain't without, he said a prophet ain't without honor. That's why he just sat back and told you in 1 Timothy 6 and 1, if those that are under the yoke count. So what do you mean when he say you under the yoke? What you think that means when he say you under the yoke? No. Yeah, captivity. Let's look and see. First, Matthew chapter 11, verse 27. It's captivity, but not the captivity y'all think about. And after that, I think it's 1 Corinthians 3 and 1. I want. Make it for Ephesians 4 and 1. Thank the Lord. Y'all all right? Come on with it now. Let's go to Matthew chapter 11. Matthew 11, 27. Matter of fact, it's 28. Come unto me, all ye that labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn of me. For I am meek and lowly in heart, and ye shall find rest unto your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light. So all of those who under the yoke, you done came under the yoke of Hamashiach. That's the yoke you done passed under the rod. Thy rod comfort me to discipline. See, look what Paul tell you in Ephesians 4:1. That's why he say, let all those who are under the yoke. He talking about all those that serve the Lord. Anybody who over you, you supposed to get them their proper respect. If not, you causing the word of God to be blasphemed. Ephesians 4:1. I therefore, the prisoner of the Lord, beseech you that you walk worthy of the vocation wherewith ye are called, with all lowliness and meekness, with long suffering, forbearing one another in love. It's long suffering is to take injury with patience. Y'all willing, I'm going to get around to showing y'all that one of the fruits of the Spirit, the multiple men in this book who took injury with patience. That means somebody did them wrong and they still didn't go off on them or treat them any badly. They still continue to do well unto them, even in the face of being done wrong. Joseph did it. Jacob did it. You know what I'm saying? The list goes on and on. David did it. Hamashiach did it. Paul did it. That's the fruit of the word right there. You heard what he said, the prisoner of the Lord. See, all you got to do is look in Zechariah chapter 9. He said the prisoners of hope. So if you under the yoke, that means you in the captivity of Hamashiach. You serve the Lord. For 1 Timothy 6:1. Yeah, I mean, but shoot, Daniel didn't even have an opportunity to be able to strike back. Moses could have struck back. Joseph could have struck back. Jacob could have struck back. Hamashiach could have struck back. They did know. Now, what happened to David's enemies, y'all let that happen to them. I mean, Daniel's enemies, when they wanted to kill him for no reason. But we know that's a testimony of Hamashiach in itself. I'm going to read that 6:1 again. Let as many servants as you're under the yoke count their own masters worthy of all honor, that the name of Elohim and his doctrine be not blasphemed. Because y'all ain't never told you to disrespect nobody who's over you. He's never told you to do that. Never. Not once. You don't read nowhere where he told them buck Pharaoh. You don't see where he told them buck Nebuchadnezzar. He didn't tell you to do that. So when you catch attitude and you don't serve your masters with all joyfulness and heart as unto the Lord, you causing this man's name and his teaching to be spoken against. And they that have believing masters. Now this is talking about, now I know some of y'all don't have believing supervisors. You understand what I'm saying? I know some of y'all don't. Matter of fact, I know all of y'all don't. He say, they that have believing masters, let them not despise them, because they are brethren, but rather do them service, because they are faithful and beloved, partakers of the benefit. These things teach and exhort. That man say, if they over you, they your brother. You can't be looking at, I'm talking about if you get into the situation where you have a supervisor, have someone over you that believe in the word, that man is your brother. That woman is your brother. He said, you matter of fact, he said you would rather do them service. You know why? John chapter 13. Let's see why you would rather do them service. I ain't even have it in my mind to look at all this, but thank the Lord. John 13, verse 13, break it 12. Let's just see what the Lord say. So after he had washed their feet and had taken his garments and was set down again, he said unto them, know ye what I've done to you? Ye call me master and Lord, and ye say, well, for so I am. If I then, your Lord and master, have washed your feet, you also ought to wash one another's feet. For I have given you an example that you should do as I have done to you. Truly, truly, I say unto you, the servant is not greater than his Lord, neither he that is sent greater than he that sent him. If you know these things, happy are ye if you do them. So that kind of makes sense when Paul said, if you got to believe in master, don't hate him because he's your brother, but rather do him service. Just like your believing master would do you service, because we just seen the master do it now, didn't we? Guess what that means? Somebody in violation, wouldn't you say? That means all of us would be then, wouldn't it? Because the Lord done gave you an example of what to do. He was a believing master, wasn't he? You got no choice but to do it then. That means you ought to serve one another who in the faith. He didn't tell you. You see, he made a delineation. He said, if you under the yoke, give your non-believing supervisor or authority figure over you, give them the respect that's due. But if they believe in, don't hate him because he your brother, but do him service because that person is faithful and loved of the Most High. They partake of the benefit of the righteousness of Yah. Teach that and warn that. So guess what that means we got to do? Teach y'all that and warn you of that. I know y'all ain't got no believing supervisor, but you never know though. You know what I'm talking about? You never know though. You never know when you run across one. Verse 3, if any man teach otherwise, consent not to wholesome words, and consent not to wholesome words, even the words of our Lord Yahshua HaMashiach, and to the doctrine which is according to godliness, he is proud, knowing nothing, but doting about questions and strife of words, wherefore come envy, strife, railings, evil surmisings, perverse disputings of men of corrupt minds, and destitute of the truth, supposing that gain is godliness, from such withdraw thyself. Now we sit back and look at, right? He said, any man don't want to teach these things and consent to what Hamashiach said. He said they were proud, they didn't know nothing, they asked questions with strife of words, and when that came, envy, strife, and evil thoughts came out. And it said perverse disputings of men of corrupt minds. They thought getting something mean y'all was with them. How can we correlate this to, where does Paul get this from? Where can we go and see where Paul get this from? I also want y'all to keep in mind that Matthew through John is scripture. So when I say scripture, your mind got to be thinking from Genesis to John. Where can we go and see what he's talking about? People who didn't want to consent to these wholesome words. I really just gave you a clue, if you actually know context clues and pay attention, of narrowing it down what I'm looking for, where I'm looking for it at. Wouldn't you say? Kind of narrowed it down for you, didn't it? Did y'all catch that I narrowed it down for you? Who caught that I narrowed it down? I narrowed it down when I told you the Gospels were scriptures. Pretty much told you right then what I was looking for. That's what I mean. Y'all be sitting back listening to stuff. Y'all don't be catching stuff because you don't be paying attention. Absolutely. Absolutely. Let's look at a point where they were doting about questions and strife of words, showing they didn't know nothing. And then envy and strife came. Let's look at Matthew 22. Let's just see what that says.
Pick it up now.
Don't think I ain't gonna tie back Judges 19 and Genesis 19. I ain't forgot about it. We still holding John 8 and 44. I ain't forgot about it. All this stuff really dealing with the whole particular thing. Why I started with Genesis 19 and Judges 19 in the first place. Whether you know it or not, I know it seems like it ain't got nothing to do with nothing. Why that nigga read this stuff about these sissies? He ain't even talking about sissies no more, because it's bigger than some punks. 22. Let's look at about verse 15. Then went the Pharisees and took counsel how they might entangle him in his talk. They sent out unto him their disciples with the Herodians, saying, Master, we know that thou art true and teach the way of Elohim in truth. Neither care thou for any man, for thou regard not the person of man, the person of men. Tell us therefore what think thou? Is it lawful to give tribute unto Caesar or not? Yahshua perceived their wickedness and said, Why tempt ye me, ye hypocrites? Show me the tribute money. And they brought unto him a penny. And he said unto them, Who is this image and superscription? They say unto him, Caesar's. Hey, stop. What's wrong with y'all? And he said unto them, Who is this image and superscription? They say unto him, Caesar's. Then saith he unto them, Render therefore unto Caesar the things which are Caesar's, and unto Elohim the things that are Elohim's. And when they heard these words, they marveled and left him and went their way. So we see right there, they were proud, so they didn't know nothing, so they came out to ask these questions with strife of words, because they were trying to catch him in his talk. Let's see if they kept on going. The same day came to him the Sadducees, which say there's no resurrection, and asked him, saying, Master, Moses said, if a man die, having no children, his brother shall marry his wife and raise up a seed unto his brother. Now there were with us 7 brethren, and the first, when he had married a wife, deceased, and having no issue, left his wife unto his brother. Likewise the second also, and the third unto the 7th. And last of all, the woman died also. Therefore in the resurrection, whose wife shall she be of the 7? For they all had her. Yahshua answered and said unto them, you do err, not knowing the scriptures and the power of Elohim. Now, when he hit him with this here, we're not going to read all the way down what he told him. But you look in 33, he said the multitude were astonished, and the Pharisees and Sadducees, they were put to silence. So then they tempted him again and asked him what the greatest commandment was. When he told them that, they gathered together again and he asked them a question. And they weren't able to answer that. But come on back. Now, do you see how these people came? They were proud because they didn't want to consent to what he was saying. You know what I'm talking about? So what did they come with their pride? Asking all these stupid questions. How many times we read all through the gospel, these people come asking this man all these stupid questions? And then when that came with that stretch, that's when the strife came. We got to kill this nigga. We got to put a hit out on this guy. You know what I'm saying? That's where all the railings, and they called him a blasphemer and a devil. You know what I'm talking about? Come on back to Timothy. Because when we sit back and we look at what was said, them people say, man, the Romans going to take away our place in nation. That's why he said they sold the righteous for a pair of shoes. They wanted his place. Huh? I ain't forgot about Amos chapter 2. Remember we read, he said they sold the righteous for silver and the humble, the poor for a pair of shoes. Huh? Yeah. So if they selling them for a pair of shoes, that means they wanted his spot. They say if we let him alone, all men gonna believe on him, and the Romans gonna take away our place in nation. We gotta sell this nigga for some shoes. We need his spot. Y'all think I was literally talking about some shoes, some sandals? Verse 5 of 1 Timothy chapter 6. Perverse disputings of men of corrupt minds and destitute of the truth, supposing that gain is godliness, from such withdraw thyself. Look at verse 10. For the love of money is the root of all evil, which while some coveted after, they have erred from the faith and pierced themselves through with many sorrow. Some of y'all be lusting for money so bad and want that stuff so bad. That's why you're sorry. You're so sad all the time. You didn't sit back and look at Judas was a thief. You know a nigga that steal, he loved money. They told him, man, we got 30 pieces of silver for you. That nigga said, hey. And he committed a sin the way he wished he would have never been born. That's what some of y'all do right now. You selling Hamashiach out for some silver. Matthew chapter 6, verse 19. You selling Hamashiach out for some silver. I thank the Lord. This is going to tap me back in the son I sold Troy. Y'all still hold Amos chapter 2 and John chapter 8. And y'all willing, I'm going to tie all this in. I wanted to talk about something else tonight, starting on something with the house, but the Lord had other plans. It's all right, little man. John 6 and 19. Bye-bye, Lizzie. Lay not up for yourselves treasures upon the earth, where moth and rust doth corrupt, and where thieves break through and steal. But lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor rust doth corrupt, and where thieves do break through nor steal. For where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. Your treasure ain't also got to be money. Wherever your mind at, whatever you spend all your thought process at, that's where your treasure at. That's where your reward at. No. I'm going to tell y'all something. I was talking to Mouse about this the other day. This ain't about Mouse, about somebody she know. I'm not going to mention who it is. But they were like, this nigga say he finna get ready to get out of barber school. And when he get out of barber school, nigga say he want to go straight to becoming a barber instructor. Nigga say, you just got out of barber school. Nigga, how you going to teach somebody how to cut? You ain't even got no experience under your belt. All he got is delusions of grandeur about going from 0 to 60. I'm telling y'all, mention y'all this here to be practical. Ain't nothing wrong with having a vision and being bold enough to have a vision and the dream and have certain things you want to do. But you got to have realistic goals and realistic execution. You know what I'm saying? Like I was talking to T yesterday, right? Because Lank was mentioning the son, the dude he worked with, he got a little dealer license. He be going to the auction, copping cars and flipping them. You know what I'm saying? This is something I used to think about in my late 20s, early 20s, I should say. You know what I'm saying? About something to do to go along with real estate. But I don't have the mind of saying, okay, once I get the money up for the dealer's license, then all of a sudden I'm going to be rich. Oh, I'm going to get these cars, and then I'm going to be like, say I might have $100,000 in a month and a half, because I already know that there's due diligence. I got to know that what type of cars I want to purchase. I have to know the auto market, where I'm at. I need to know wherever I'm going to be posted up at selling cars, what's going on there. I would want to know my target market of who I was selling my cars to. Would it be capable of me copping cars from a dealership? I mean, copping these cars and then maybe selling these car to a dealership. Maybe if I copped it for $1,500, I say, man, come on, man, I'll give you this car right here, man. Give me $3,500 right now. Ain't made me nothing but $2,000 to get off of them rather quickly. You know what I'm saying? But we still looking at long haul. Niggas not looking to get rich in 60 days. You know what I'm saying? Some of y'all reason why a lot of stuff y'all do, it don't be successful. It don't just got to be with business. No matter what you're doing, it can even be with a workout plan. It can even be with losing weight. It can be with anything. Reason why you ain't successful, you don't set realistic goals. When you don't hit them realistic goals, you get discouraged and you quit. You know what I'm saying? How many of y'all would say you're a quitter? Say everything you ever did, you quit. You said you quit. And why did you quit? Yeah, a lot of people quit for that one there too. You wasn't confident in yourself to start with, so you didn't actually believe you could accomplish it. So you like to say, I told Mouse and T this the other day, ain't nothing wrong with failing. It's one thing if you went and did it and you weren't successful. Ain't no shame in that. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no shame in that. It's a lot of people done. Now, the shame is like when we were looking at Honeymoon, all them stupid ideas that nigga had and he failed. Like, nigga, you knew that wasn't going to work. You know what I'm saying? Don't be coming up with stuff you know that's going to fail before you even start. And you trying to convince yourself that it'd be successful. But there's nothing wrong with doing something. Okay, you know, people start businesses and they fail every day. Every day. Somebody has closed up a business today because it failed. You know what I'm saying? They might have been in debt. They could have broke even. You know what I'm saying? They might have made a little bit of money and say, you know what? We better get out before we lose everything. You know what I'm saying? See, a lot of y'all don't be willing to try nothing. You ain't bold enough to do nothing because you scared of failing. What is she crying for now? Lizzie! Lizzie! Y'all got to sit back and think about that. How many on here, because everybody quiet, nobody want to say nothing. How many of y'all would say that you are a quitter? How many of y'all say y'all start stuff and you don't finish it? And what was the reason, Delta? Hold on, Ro. And Delta, what was your reason of saying at that time you had that process? Of, what was the reason why you were like that? So I already told y'all, you know, procrastination is a sign of low self-esteem. So you already ain't confident that you could be successful in it anyway. That's why you putting it off to the side. I do it later. I do it later. I do it later. Then later never comes. And then you just say, I'll never do it again. Go ahead, Rohan. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna tell you something, man. Anything you do, you got to set realistic, tangible goals that you can meet. You understand what I'm saying? If your goals are not tangible, that you can meet them, you're setting yourself up for failure. You know what I'm saying? When I first stepped to my uncle, when I was 22, about helping me do real estate investing, he screamed, oh, get rich quick scheme. I had tangible goals that I wanted to achieve. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't thinking to myself, oh, I want to sell 15 houses in 3 months. You know what I'm saying? I was looking at in a 6-month span, I wanted to been flipped 2 to 3 houses. You know what I'm saying? That was a realistic goal that I could hit that. The way I could take my time. If I flip one, I could take my time, cop another one, and then I would have the funds to be able to pay the mortgage if the next one I cop didn't flip that fast. You know what I'm saying? To keep it realistic, because I know I could hit that mark. If I say I want to sell 10 houses in 6 months, I've set a mark that may be impossible to touch. And if I don't touch it, then I'm going to get discouraged and then I'm going to quit. You know what I'm saying? That's where a lot of people make their error at. Your goals are not realistic. Because I mentioned this here because this man said you want to go from barber school to be an instructor. Do you know you would need at least 5 to 10 years cutting hair in your craft, sharpening your craft, before you could even think? How would y'all think if a nigga just got out of barber school, now he teaching you how to cut hair? The only way you would go for that is if the nigga had been cutting hair for years, and he just finally went and got licensed. And niggas known like, oh shoot, bro, known in the hood for cutting hair. You know what I'm saying? Nobody knows you, nigga. My homeboy Corey been cutting hair for 23 years. Now he just really starting to come out there and share tricks of the trade with people. But he been doing it for 23 years. I want my own barber school. Nigga, you ain't even got a barber shop. How you go from barber school to I want to own a barber school? Nigga, you ain't never ran a barber shop. Like I was telling Mal, when I was getting my real estate, like in the state of Florida, I don't know if the laws changed. It could still be the same. You have to be a real estate salesperson for 18 months before they will let you take the broker exam, which would basically mean you own your own real estate company. You ain't got to work for nobody. You know what I'm saying? Why? Because they want you to cut your teeth and get that experience before they it's actually a good thing they do it that way so you don't stick your neck out there and get your whole head cut off. You know what I'm saying? It ain't even just about going to jail. It's about if you sit around and you can get the time to learn the business, craft your trade, get better at your skill. You know what I'm saying? Be able around people who have more experience and knowledge in the situation where they can teach it to you. Show you a few things. When you actually step out there on your own, you'll be good. You know what I'm saying? Don't you think, man, if I say, hey, man, we going to think about selling cars, flipping houses, do you not think that I would not have enough sense to probably try to find somebody who do that and try to learn from them? See, that's what a wild person, like T would mention, when you're going to have to get a mechanic. Common sense tell me to get a mechanic. See, I was taught how to run a business. I'm not good at certain things. So you know what I would do? Find somebody who is and pay them top dollar. You know what I'm saying? Pay them top dollar. I ain't good at accounting. So I'm going to find me somebody who is. That mean if I got strong people in every avenue and aspect of my company, we can't fail. See, I ain't dumb enough to be like, well, I'm going to just run the whole thing because I know what I'm doing. I don't need no help. Bet you lying. Yeah, I need some help. I'm a delegate. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to delegate. And I'm going to make sure that I got the best of the best. I'm going to make sure I got somebody there who know what they doing because it's going to work out for me better in the long run. See, what some of y'all problem is, y'all don't look at the long run. Yeah, you can make a lot of money real fast, but you're going to be broke in the long run. It might be rough in the beginning, but you're going to have more money in the end. That's just something to think about. Where we was at? Matthew 6. Y'all to keep that in mind. Because you know what I'm saying? Keep that in mind. Wherever your thoughts is, that's what it was. See, Judas' treasure was that cash. You know what I'm saying? The Pharisees' treasure was, they wanted that notoriety. They wanted to be, John chapter 12. That's what they wanted. That's why they were proud and didn't want to consent to wholesome words. We still holding John 8 and Amos chapter 2. I'm finna get ready to let y'all go in a minute. I ain't finna keep y'all too long. But you remember how he's, let me show you this here. And after that, Deuteronomy chapter 8, John chapter 12, verse 40. Because it was something he said that stuff didn't corrupt, right? I'm going to show y'all something. He said that treasure that he got, he said it didn't corrupt, it didn't rub. I'm going to show y'all something I showed to Troy. Troy asked me about this Sunday afternoon. So I'm going to go ahead and get you. I showed them Sunday last night when we were talking, but I ain't got time to work that in tonight. Maybe another day. Today, not today. He had blinded their eyes and hardened their heart, and that they should not see with their eyes, nor understand with their heart, and be converted, and I should heal them. These things said Isaiah when he saw his glory and spake of him. Nevertheless, among the chief rulers also many believed on him, but because of the Pharisees they did not confess him, lest they should be put out of the synagogue. For they love the praise of men more than the praise of Elohim. That's some of y'all problem. That's that pride right there. Don't you know that's pride when you worried about what other people think about you and say about you and how they view you? You know that pride, right? That's what caused you to ask stupid questions and to have strife and envy and evil thoughts and call people names and all that type of stuff. That's that pride, because you want that praise of men, not the praise of the Most High. That's dangerous. Breathe when you sip, Lizzie. Breathe. Come over here to Deuteronomy chapter 8. Lizzie guzzle that thing like a drunk do a bill. She just turn it up and go. What you do with Leah, Tizzy, Lizzie? You ain't grown now, tap. Is you gonna grow, Lizzie? Is you gonna grow? You gonna get bigger. Deuteronomy 8:1. At least you ain't getting fat. Go ahead, Lizzie. My baby love to eat, boy. Good grief. Eat, drink. I'm talking about, I gave her a piece of the banana. I'm trying to split it, her and Leah. She hot. Took the whole banana and shoved it in her mouth. No breathing, no nothing. Just kept going and going and going and going. I don't know where you got this baby from, because you ain't eat like that when you was a baby. I'm talking about right now, she drinking this water out this cup. Man, this baby is not breathed one time. I don't know where we found her at. I just hear, thank the Lord she ain't no boy. You gonna be broke. Deuteronomy 8:1. All the commandments which I commanded thee this day shall you observe to do, that ye may live, and multiply, and to go in and possess the land which Yah sware unto your fathers. Thou shalt remember all which Yah thy Elohim led thee 40 years in the wilderness to humble thee, and to prove thee, to know what was in thy heart. I'm telling y'all, y'all think this ain't got nothing to do with nothing with that Judges 19 and that Genesis 19. But y'all know by the time I get finished, you're going to see how all that went together. Y'all don't think that Genesis 19 and Judges 19 got nothing to do with nothing. By what we looking at so far, does it look like it got anything to do with anything after that? It don't look like it, do. Why would I tell you though? Listen what he say. Thou shalt remember all the way which Yah thy Elohim had led thee 40 years in the wilderness to humble thee and to prove thee, to know what was in thy heart, and whether thou would keep his commandments or no. And he humbled thee and suffered thee to hunger, and fed thee with manna which thou knew not, neither did thy fathers know, that he might make thee to know that man doth not live by bread only, but by every word that proceed out the mouth of Yah doth man live. Thy raiment waxed not old upon thee, neither did thy foot swell these 40 years. Thou shalt consider in thy heart that as a man chasten his son, so Yah thy Elohim chasten thee. Therefore thou shalt keep the commandments of Yah thy Elohim to walk in his ways and to fear him. What y'all gather that this could be referring to? Anybody like to take a shot? I got about 25, 30 more minutes. That's about all I got. It's 8:56. I don't want to take about 25, 30 more minutes. I think I can be done in about 20. We see if the Lord let me get done that fast. Y'all got any idea what it could be talking about? I'm going to systematically show you step by step what this is talking about. And then you ought to know these same things. And then we're going to go back and we're going to finish Amos chapter 2, right? And then we're going to go back and we're going to look at John 8 and 44. And then I'm going to show you how all this stuff we were looking at this evening. Because one thing you supposed to caught war, them people said that Lot, one of the men in that house was what? A judge, right? You know what I'm saying? So he was going to, I mean, one of them a judge, meaning this man going to be able to determine who evil and who ain't, right? He knows some things you don't know. He got some righteousness, got some ability to discern. Now, we're going to show all this stuff because all this stuff going to make sense in a minute. So we look at verse 1, right? He say, all these commandments which I tell you to do them so you can live and multiply. John 12:49. Make it 44. Praise the Lord. Praise y'all for Yahshua. I hope y'all all right. 12 and 44. John, Yahshua cried and said, he that believe on me, believe not on me, but on him that sent me. And he that see me, see him that sent me. I come a light into the world, that whosoever believe on me should not abide in darkness. And if any man hear my words and believe not, I judge him not. For I come not to judge the world, but to save the world. He that reject me and receive not my words have one that judge him. The word that I have spoken, the same shall judge him in the last day. Them men didn't receive Lot's words. That same word he spoke ended up judging them, because them boys went down. He said, for I have not spoken of myself, but the Father which sent me, he gave me a commandment, what I should say and what I should speak. And I know that his commandment is life everlasting. Wheresoever I speak, therefore, even as the Father said unto me, so I speak. Now, we just looked in Deuteronomy chapter 8. This man just said, all these commandments that I give you, right, keep them. And what was he going to do? What would happen if you kept all the commandments? I'm not asking myself this question. I know the answer. What did he tell him? If you observe all of the commandments, he said, you will live and multiply and take the land too, right? So let's look at Romans 8 and 17. Make it 14. Let's see if he lived. Matter of fact, let's just make it 9. Let's just see Romans 8, 9. Let's just see if he lived. Let's see if he multiplied. And let's see if he possessed the land. Y'all got to know that you got to show the same similar behavior, right? He says, but if you are not in the flesh, but in the spirit, if so be, stop, listen, the spirit of Elohim dwell in you. Now, if any man have not the spirit of Elohim, he is none of his. And if a Mashiach be in you, the body is dead because of sin, but the spirit is life because of righteousness. But if the spirit of him that raised up Yahshua from the dead dwell in you, he that raised up a Mashiach from the dead shall also quicken your mortal bodies by his spirit that dwell in you. Therefore, brethren, we are debtors not to the flesh to live after the flesh. If you live after the flesh, ye shall die. That's just what happened to all your forefathers in the wilderness. They lived after the flesh and their lust, and they died. He says, but if you through the spirit do mortify the deeds of the body, ye shall live. Keep in mind now, this tie back to what we're looking at Deuteronomy. I'm going to show it to you in a minute. For as many as are led by the spirit of Elohim, they are the sons of Elohim. Now we know in verse 17, let's look what he said. If children, then heirs, and heirs of Elohim, and joint heirs with Hamashiach, if so be that we suffer with him, that we may be so glorified together. So now we see multiplying, right? Because if you believe on Hamashiach, he dwell in you and you dwell in him, then that would be sons, right? Because he said to be fruitful and multiply. And he said, if you abide in me, he that abide in me, and I in him, he'll bring forth much fruit. That's multiplication. We know that he said you will possess this good land. We know the land was promised to who? Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And if you in Galatians chapter 3, I promise to you this got something to do with something, whether you know it or not. Whether you know it or not. Everybody all right? Y'all extra quiet. Y'all quiet than usual. And y'all really be quiet too. So that's saying something. Let me see, Galatians 3, about verse 13. Hamashiach have redeemed us from the curse of the law, being made a curse for us, for it is written, cursed is everyone that hang on a tree, that the blessing of Abraham might come on the Gentiles through Yahshua HaMashiach, that we might receive the promise of the Spirit through faith. Brethren, I speak after the manner of men. Though it be but a man's covenant, yet if it be confirmed, no man disannul or add thereto. Now to Abraham and his seed were the promises made. He saith not, and to seeds as of many, but as of one, and to thy seed, which is Hamashiach. Now we know, didn't he promise Abraham that land of Canaan? So you sitting back looking at, when they were in Deuteronomy, what was he telling them they would get if they kept the commandments? They would get the land of Canaan, right? So when Hamashiach did everything that he was told, didn't he get that same inheritance? Didn't he get to take possession of the land? So that means if you dwell in Hamashiach and you become sons of Elohim, I mean, you suffer as he suffered, don't that mean you would get that same inheritance too? You better tighten up on your bike stroke then. Come on back, let's look at Deuteronomy 8 again. We're going to walk it down now. I'm going to see if y'all catch the key point of everything we looking at. Because he keeps saying it. I don't think y'all catching it though. Now we look at verse 2. Thou shalt remember all the way which Yah led thee these 40 years, to humble thee, to prove thee, to know what was in thy heart, whether you would do what I said or not. And he said, I humbled thee, I suffered you to hunger, I fed thee with manna which you didn't know, that you might know that a man don't live by bread alone. So how did he humble and suffer them to hunger? How is that possible? How did he prove them? Thanks. Well, let's look and see. Absolutely. Let's look and see. Let's look at Luke 22 then. He said, I will prove thee. After we look at Luke 22, Hebrews 4 and 13. Make it 4 and 12. Luke 22 and 32. I might be a little too low. I'm feeling all right. Thank the Lord. It backed me up now to about 28 is what I want actually. But I'm going to read 25 one more time so that can come into your mind. That's what you get. That's what you get. And he said unto them, the kings of the Gentiles exercise lordship over them, that they exercise authority upon them are called benefactors. But you shall not be so. But he that is greatest among you, let him be as the younger, and he that is chief, as he that doth serve. For whether is greater, he that sit at me or he that serve? It's not he that sit at me, but I am among you as he that serve. Ye are they which have continued with me in my temptations, and I have appointed unto you a kingdom, as my Father hath appointed unto me. If he was them that who was with him in his temptations, then what does that mean? Get your legs out there. If they were them who were with him in his temptations, what does that mean? That means he was tried just like they were tempted and tried in the wilderness. He said, I took you through the wilderness for 40 years to prove you, to see whether you would keep my commandments or not. Ain't that what he said?
Stop.
Hebrews 4 and 13. He just sat back. Remember what James 1 and 12 say? Blessed is him that endureth temptation, for he shall receive a crown of life that the Lord has promised to those that love him.
Stop.
So don't you realize when you in temptations, you being tried to see if you love the Lord or not? The whole time they were in the wilderness, they were being tried to see if they loved Yah or not. Hebrews 4 and 12. For the word of Elohim is quick and powerful and sharper than any two-edged sword, piercing even to the dividing asunder of soul and spirit, and of the joints and marrow, and is a discerner of the thoughts and intents of the heart. Neither is there any creature that is not manifest in his sight, but all things are naked and open unto the eyes of him whom we have to do. Seeing then that we have a great high priest that is passed into the heavens, Yahshua the son of Elohim, let us hold fast our profession. For we have not a high priest which cannot be touched with the feelings of our infirmities, but was in all points tempted, like as we are, yet without sin. See, when what Ray just mentioned on, he did the works that no other man did. When he was tempted, he was tried. He showed that he loved his Father. Somebody got something going on their phone. That noise is very aggravating. John 8 and 44. I mean 8 and 49. About 8 and 53. You got to do something with that. That's very aggravating. John 8 and 54. And this still tied back into what I'm telling y'all about not seeking honor from yourself or from men, but seeking honor from the Most High. Yahshua answered, if I honor myself, my honor is nothing. It is my Father that honoreth me, of whom ye say that he is your Elohim. Yet you have not known him, but I know him. If I should say I know him not, I shall be a liar like unto you, but I know him and keep his saying. We already read that to know the man is to keep his commandments, is to do what he say. This still going to tie into Judges 19 and Genesis 19, whether y'all know it or not. Everything we looking at is going to swing right back to that. You understand? You heard what he said? He said, I do what he say. So even in the face of temptation, even in the face of trial, even in the face of I could go with my lust, when the word was brought forth, it showed what was in his heart, didn't it? Meaning he retained what y'all told him then, didn't it? And then he executed it. See, you know what a lot of y'all problem is? Y'all don't retain what y'all tell you. That's why you ain't got no problem going to go do what you want to do. That's how you fall victim to temptation. And you get proved that you don't love the Lord. James 1 and 12 tell you this plainly. Blessed is the man that endure temptation, for when he is tried, he shall receive a crown of life, which the Lord has promised to all them that love him. He was telling these people that they would live and multiply if they kept his commandments, but I got to prove you to see if you're going to keep them or not. So then he said, I had to humble you. Let's look at Hebrews chapter 5 since we over there. Hebrews 5 and 7. Whom in the days of his flesh, when he offered up prayers and supplications with strong crying and tears unto him that was able to save him from death and was heard and that he feared. Though he were a son, yet he learned obedience by the things which he suffered. And being made perfect, he became an author of eternal salvation unto all them that obey him. We know Philippians chapter 2 say he humbled himself and became obedient even unto death, right? So when you sitting back talking about the chastisement, we know the chastisement of our peace was laid upon this man, wasn't it? Ain't that's what Isaiah 53 say? So that means, we already know what Hebrews chapter 12 say. If you don't be chastened, then what are you then? You's a bastard and not a son. He was chastising them in the wilderness to show them a similitude of Hamashiach. He just said in verse 5, considering your heart as a man chastening his son, therefore I chasten you. He was showing you what the chastening they received in the wilderness is what he was going to do to Hamashiach. Was that man not chastened? Did he not suffer the hunger? That man suffered. So he humbled him then, didn't he? That means, and if you're going to take the son on, guess what you're going to have to do? That means them same commandments he gave you, you're going to have to keep them so you can live. Ain't that right? That means that same suffering and obedience, because we already read Romans 8 and 17. He said, we suffer with him, we'll be heirs and be glorified with him. So that means you're going to have to take that same suffering, that same humility. You're going to have to humble yourself down. That's what some of y'all problem is. You won't humble yourself down. You're too proud. That's why them people balk and say we loathe that light bread. We ain't got no water out here. You brought us out here to die. Steady complaining. Because you were proud. Every time Moses tried to tell them something, they kept running their mouth. That's why he told you don't be murmurers. Don't be running your mouth. Come on back to Deuteronomy 8. Sit down, Leah. Ain't no spinning around. I'm going to spin you around, spin my foot around your butt. Just sit down and be still. So what y'all think that could mean? When he said your raiment won't wax old and your foot didn't swell. Huh?
Stop doing that.
What y'all think this means about your raiment ain't gonna wax old and your feet ain't gonna swell?
Yeah.
I'm gonna show you something. I am gonna be able to work something in. I showed Core them. Deuteronomy 28. Deuteronomy 28. Give me a second. After this, we'll look at Amos chapter 2 when we get finished. All this stuff we looking at with Deuteronomy 8. Deuteronomy 28 and 22. Yah shall smite thee with the consumption, and with a fever, and with the inflammation, and with extreme burning, and with the sword, and with blasting, and with mildew. They shall pursue thee. Hold on, y'all. I ain't even had this thing plugged up the whole time. I think about to cut off on me. Okay. Let me read that again. Yah shall smite thee with a consumption, and with a fever, with an inflammation, with an extreme burning, with the sword, with blasting, and with mildew, and they shall pursue thee until thou perish. And thy heaven that is over thy head shall be brass, and the earth that is under thee shall be iron. And Yah shall make the rain of thy land powder and dust. From heaven shall it come upon thee until thou be destroyed. They all remember what that go to about the consumption and the fever and the inflammation and the burning. Y'all remember what that is? Y'all remember what that is? Y'all remember what that tied to? Not an affliction, but remember what were Yahshua doing in Luke 22 when he was praying? What did it say he was doing? Sweating. He was sweating. He wasn't bleeding. It said his sweat was coming off of him, and it looked like tears. It looked like drops of blood. And say he was bleeding. Say he was sweating. Every last one of y'all know when you catch an inflammation or a fever, what you go to doing? Sweating. We know that extreme burning because he went through the furnace of affliction. You know how the sword get him. Now let me ask you this question. Mildew. What come to your mind when you hear the word mildew? Something rotten. And usually when something rotten, what comes to your mind with something rotten? Not just dead, but what comes to your mind with it? It's something rotten or a dead body. What gonna come? It stinks. It lets off an odor, right? Anybody ever smelled mildew clothes? They smell horrible, don't they? You know what I'm saying? You be like this, oh man, what is that smell? Right? Hold what you got and come over here to Isaiah the 3rd chapter. Everybody cool? Everybody all right? Ain't nobody want to jump off no bridge, do it? Because if you jump, I ain't coming to get you because I can't swim. I'm telling y'all that right now. We at a pool, the beach, and you drowning, don't ask me to come get you. You's a dead nigga. I'm telling you that right now. I cannot swim. Don't send your kids out there with me talking about, am I going to save them? No, I ain't going to save them. That nigga going to drown. Ain't nobody tell you to go out there. And if you don't believe me, you can ask my sister. She know I can't swim. And I ain't coming out there to get you. That's real, though. Y'all think I'm playing too, don't they? Thing is, though, I ain't playing. Isaiah 3. About verse 24. I'm going to ask y'all a question. What did we just read the other day that meant sweet savor or sweet smell? That would be Jericho, right? That was Jericho. That meant sweet odor. Keep that in mind. It shall come to pass that instead of a sweet smell, there shall be stink. And instead of a girdle, a rent. And instead of well-set hair, baldness. And instead of a stomach, a girding of sackcloth. And burning instead of beauty. Remember it says in Isaiah 53 there would be no beauty that we should desire. Don't y'all sit back and realize when they beat that man and snatched his beard out, snatched all his hair out, beat the brakes out of him, they were burning there. It wasn't no beauty now, was it? So how we tie this mildew in? And he said instead of a sweet smell, there'll be stink. How is that possible? Because Paul said Mashiach was a sweet smelling savor. He was Jericho. You know what I'm talking about? So how is he a stink? How is he a stink if he not a sweet smelling smell? He became sin. So when he was up there on that tree, he became mildew then. You know, full well he up there on that tree. If you smell that mildew to follow, boy, that there stink right there. Boy, that ain't no good smell right there. So what did he do? Didn't spare his own son, turned it back on him, didn't he? What y'all think y'all walking around here, y'all to this man, you walking in sin. You mildew, you stink. That means every prayer you give. He say the prayers of the saints are like incense. You know, incense give off a sweet smell. So he say the prayer of the wicked is an abomination to him. It's a stink. Yahshua became sin. So when he was crying out to him, for all intents and purposes, his prayer was an incense, so it was a stink smell. It was mildew. Right? Now we come back to Deuteronomy 28, right? Y'all follow me on that? Come on, 'cause I got to get y'all out of here. It's about 9:17. I ain't keeping y'all too long. I done kept you long enough. We about an hour and a half. I gotta get y'all out of here. So when we look at Deuteronomy 28, right? And this man sat back and said after that, the heaven that is over thy head shall be brass, and the earth that is underneath shall be iron, and Yah shall make the rain of the land powder and dust. From heaven it shall come down upon thee until you be destroyed. What do you think that could mean? The heaven over his head be as brass, the earth underneath him be as iron. Well, when he talking about brass, he meaning he was going to withhold the heavens of what? Rain, right? If he say the heaven going to be turned into the rain of the land would be powder and dust. And it'll come down from heaven on thee. You would have no power over me at all, except he was given thee from heaven. Therefore, he that delivered me unto thee have the greater sin. You know what I'm saying? So that means the Father came up to end up fighting against him to be his enemy. But what does that mean about the earth beneath become iron? What does that mean about the earth beneath him coming iron? Y'all don't know. Let me tie this into a couple more places. Job 13. Let me tie this in a couple more places. Remember, Job 13. You know, he told the people, you from above. I'm from above, you from beneath. Remember, he was caught between what? Heaven and earth, right? So that's how the heaven was brass. He filled heaven and earth at the same time. So let's look at Job 13, about verse 27. Thou put my feet also in the stocks, and look narrowly unto all my paths. Thou set a print upon the heels of my feet, and he as a rotten thing consumed as a garment that is moth-eaten. You know, if it's unrotten, it stinks. So you see him becoming a stink. Instead of a good smell, there was a stink. Instead of beauty, there was burning. Because y'all don't realize, boy, they beat the brakes off that man. I know some of y'all might have seen Passion of the Christ and you try to visualize it in your head. They beat the brakes off that man. See, they ain't show you all that in Passion of the Christ. They ain't snatched that man beard out. They ain't snatched that man hair out in that movie. You know what I'm saying? Boy, they snatched the Lord beard out. They snatched his face out. They slapped this man with reeds. They slapped this man with their hand. They stoned this man as he walked past. That's why they said it was no beauty in him that we should desire. When you look upon him, it said his visage was marred more than any other. You know what I'm saying? They beat the brakes off this man. You know full well you look at somebody beat up like that, messed up like that, you be like, boy, that nigga ugly. Didn't mean the Lord was ugly. You know what I'm saying? You mean the ugly like they beat the woo. Like when we were talking about that dude we went to high school with when they jumped him and he met us at the Shell on University over there by Inglewood. Nigga was like, boy, your face looked like the Rocky Mountains. That's how bad they beat him. He had lumps everywhere. You know what I'm saying? Had lumps everywhere. You better get her. She gonna try it. Come on over here. Yeah, that was literally what my homeboy told him. That's literally what his face looked like. Genesis 3 and 15. Nobody don't care because you can't get down, little Tubby. Yeah, she wants you to get her down. Go on and get down, Lizzie. 3 and 15, Genesis. Because I'm going to whoop your behind if you do. Keep this in mind now. This is tying into something. I will put enmity between the woman and between thy seed and her seed, and it shall bruise thy head, and thou shalt bruise his heel. He said he'd make the heaven below iron. What are nails usually made out of? What did we read in Deuteronomy chapter 8? What did it say about their raiment? In Deuteronomy 8, what did he say about their raiment? What didn't happen to it? And what he said didn't happen with their feet. What did he say didn't happen with their feet? Didn't swell. What you think gonna happen if I take a nail and shove it in your feet? Well, let's look at John chapter 20. Let's see if his feet swell. John 20 and 25. Matter of fact, we might want Luke 24. That's where it mentioned his feet. Luke 24. Let's see if he says his feet swell. Luke 24, verse 36. Let's see if his feet swollen. And as they thus spake, Yahshua himself stood in the midst of them and said unto them, Peace be unto you. But they were terrified and affrighted and supposed that they had seen a spirit. And he said unto them, Why are you troubled, and why do thoughts arise in your hearts? Behold, my hands and my feet, that it is I myself. Handle me and see, for a spirit have not flesh and bone, as you see me have. I guess that means his feet didn't swell then, I don't. You know how we know his feet didn't swell? Because remember he said their garment didn't wax old, right? What did Peter quote in Acts chapter 2? Thou shalt not suffer thy Kodesh one to see corruption. That means his garment didn't wax old, now did it? So that also means his feet didn't swell either. Let's go back to Deuteronomy chapter 8. Then after that, Amos chapter 2. Y'all get that? Y'all understand that all that them verses dealing with a Mashiach? Y'all just thought he was talking about your feet ain't swell and your clothes ain't go old for nothing. That was also going back to if you trust in the Lord. In Matthew 6, when he say if your treasure in heaven, thieves won't steal, your stuff won't corrupt. Because if you walking with God, you ain't gonna lose nothing. Because y'all don't walk with God, that's why y'all lose stuff. And you be stressing and worrying about stuff because you actually don't trust in God like you're supposed to. You just running your mouth. So when we look at verse 4, we see his raiment wax old. We look at verse 5. Thou shalt consider in thy heart, and as a man chasten his son, so Yah thy Elohim chasten thee. Therefore thou shalt keep the commandments of Yah thy Elohim to walk in his ways and to fear him. Remember, that will bring forth the peaceable fruit of righteousness, as Hebrews chapter 12 tells us. You're going to have to be chastened by the word. You're going to have to suffer. You're going to have to be humbled down. That's the only way you're going to get in. We see that's what he did with our forefathers. He humbled them to get in, right? To get them in, right? And all those who didn't want to be humbled, they didn't make it, did them? Y'all better consider that in your heart. Amos chapter 2. You think you're going to get in and you ain't going to be humbled? Y'all think that possible? Let's finish this Amos chapter 2. We already dealt with verse 7. You already know how they turned aside the way of the meek, right? Because when Pilate was determined to let him go, they steady said, kill him. It was a humble man. They wanted to cast this nigga away. But look at verse 8, though. They laid themselves down upon clothes to lay pledge by every altar. They drink the wine of the condemned in the house of their God. 1 Corinthians chapter 11. He said they drink the wine of the condemned. 1 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 20. 1 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 20. When you come together, therefore, into one place, this is not to eat the Lord's Supper. For in eating, everyone take before other his own supper, and one is hungry, and another is drunken. What? Have you not houses to eat and to drink in? Or do you despise ye the synagogue of Elohim, and shame them that have not? What shall I say to you? Shall I praise you in this? I praise you not. For I have received of the Lord that which also I delivered unto you, that the Lord Yahshua the same night in which he was betrayed took bread. And when he had given thanks, he brake it and said, Take, eat, this is my body, which is broken for you. This do in remembrance of me. After the same manner also he took the cup when he had supped, saying, This cup is the New Testament in my blood. This do ye as oft as you drink it in remembrance of me. For as often as you eat this bread and drink this cup, ye do show the Lord's death till he come. Wherefore whosoever shall eat this bread and drink this cup of the Lord unworthily shall be guilty of the body and the blood of the Lord. But let a man examine himself, so let him eat of that bread and drink of that cup. For he that drink and eat and drink unworthily, eat and drink damnation to himself, not discerning the Lord's body. He just said these people drink the wine that condemned in the house of their God. He wasn't talking about the house of the Most High, though. Because we know in Philippians chapter 3, he said their God is their belly, who mind earthly things. So you don't sit back and realize people, when they sipping that wine, right, they condemning themselves, because that's the cup of the condemned. When you showing this man death when he come, when you drink that cup, because he was condemned to die, was he not? That man just read it, and we didn't go back and start it. He said, for 3 transgressions and for 4, I will not pardon. You wonder where Paul get this from about you drinking this cup unworthily, don't you? But Amos just told you about it, did he not? So now we see where he get that from. Y'all had to sit back and look at When you drinking that cup, that means you taking in that New Testament, right? So you basically saying, I'm taking in the word because the covenant was sealed by blood. That means if you drinking it unworthily, this is what you done, tying it right. Hold on, John 8:44, then Romans chapter 1, and we be done. And this time right back to what I was telling y'all about, starting off in Genesis 19 and Judges 19. Because weren't those men told not to do that? Weren't they told not to do it? Weren't they given instruction not to rape those men and do what they were finna do? Were they not given that? All right now. John 8:43. Let's just start there. Why do you not understand my speech, even because you cannot hear my word? And them people in Judges 19 and Genesis 19, they couldn't understand what he was saying, could they? In Judges 19, it says specifically, they were the sons of Belial. They were the sons of the worthless one. They were the sons of the devil. Let's see what the Lord say. Ye are of your father the devil, and the lust of your father ye will do. That's what them people did in Judges and Genesis, right? He was a murderer from the beginning and abode not in the truth, because there is no truth in him. And when he speak a lie, he speak of his own, for he is a liar and the father of it. It makes sense that those people would do that in Genesis and Judges, because they were going after their lust like their daddy Satan. You understand what I'm saying? So it would make sense, because when a righteous man tried to tell them, no, don't do wickedly, they couldn't understand that or hear that, because all they want to do was consume their lust. Romans 1. Romans 1 and 26. And that's it right there. We're going to start right here at Romans 1. When I finish with Romans 1, that's it right there. We good. For this cause Elohim gave them up unto vile affections. For even their women did change the natural use into them which is against nature. And likewise, hush, Leah, and likewise also the men, leaving the natural use of the woman, burned in their lust one toward another, men with men, working that which is unseemly, and receiving in themselves that recompense of their error which was meet. What happened to the men in Sodom and Gomorrah who were burning to get that error recompense back to them? Weren't they killed? What happened to the men in the book of Judges? What happened to them Benjamites? They were killed. So that same error that they made, they got the payment back that was just, right? Now let's look at verse 28 then. Even as they did not like to retain Elohim in their knowledge, Elohim gave them over to a reprobate mind to do those things which are not convenient. When we looked at 1 Timothy 6 about them people not consenting to wholesome word, is because they didn't want to retain Yah in their knowledge. When we look at these people not wanting to be humbled and afflicted, when he said, keep my commandments, I'll prove you whether you keep my word or not, it's because they didn't want to retain Elohim in their knowledge. When Lot warned them, don't do this so wickedly, they didn't want to retain Elohim in their knowledge. When the old man of the house in the book of Judges say, don't do this folly, them people already knew the law of man wasn't supposed to lay what a man didn't. Didn't want to retain Elohim in their knowledge. Didn't want to keep the word in their mind. That's what some of y'all problem is. Listen what he said. Even as they did not like to retain Elohim in their knowledge, Elohim gave them over to a reprobate mind to do those things which are not convenient. So he let them do it. Being filled with all unrighteousness, fornication, wickedness, covetousness, maliciousness, full of envy, murder, debate, deceit, malignity, whisperers, backbiters, haters of Elohim, despiteful, proud, boasters, inventors of evil things, disobedient to parents, without understanding, covenant breakers, without natural inflection, implacable, unmerciful, who knowing the judgment of Elohim that they which commit such things are worthy of death, not only do the same, but have pleasure in them that do them. So you see, this was everything we looked at. You notice how we started looking at the homosexuals, but then we went away from that, didn't we? It seemed like we went away from that, but what we was looking at the whole time was, we looked at Hamashiach hearing the word and keeping it. He retained it in his knowledge. Therefore, it showed the thoughts and intents of his heart. When those men warned them people in Judges 19 and Genesis 19 not to do that, their intents of their heart was made manifested because they continued with that behavior. So Yah let them go that course. so they could be destroyed. If y'all don't sit back and retain this man's word and your knowledge and keep it in your mind, you're going to end up just like them people in Judges 19 and Genesis 19. Do y'all see how it didn't look like that had nothing to do with nothing? Do you see how he brought it all the way around so you see how it had to do with something? Matthew 13:47. Do y'all see that? Does everybody see that? Does anybody else see that besides Denzel? Y'all sit back and look at that now. Y'all thought we were just finna go in on some punks, huh? That's what y'all thought. We already know them niggas crazy. You know you got to be crazy. You want hot dog in your buns. You know something wrong with you. It's bigger than that, though. It's about people don't retain this man's word in their mind. And when you don't retain this man's word in your mind, then guess what's going to happen? You're going to do what you want to do. That's what they did, didn't they? The man say Lot would be a judge. The word of Elohim shows us the thoughts and intents of the heart. It's going to judge what type of heart it is. What type of work you doing. Again, the kingdom of heaven is like unto a net that was cast into the sea and gathered of every kind, which when it was full, they drew to the shore and sat down and gathered the good into the vessel, but cast the bad away. So shall it be at the end of the world. The angels shall come, sever the wicked from among the just, and shall cast them into the furnace of fire. There shall be wailing and gnashing of teeth. Yahshua said unto them, have you understood all these things? Y'all understood all these things? They say unto him, yea, Lord. Then he said unto them, therefore every scribe which is instructed unto the kingdom of heaven is like unto a man that is a householder, which bring forth out of his treasure things new and old. Praise ye Yah for Yahshua HaMashiach and the word. Thank the Lord.